Getting better at writing does not necessarily mean writing more. It means writing smarter. Hi, my name is Hannah Gaudette, founder of the Indie Author Studio and author of 8 self-published books and counting. And today we are talking about how to improve your craft as a new writer. If you are trying to level up your writing to take the next step and eventually publish your book, then this is the video for you. So let's dive right in. First thing I'm going to say is something you have probably heard many authors and editors advise you to do, and that is read. It might seem like cliche advice, but it's not. Reading is the single best way to improve as a writer. Read books in your genre, read books outside your genre, read books by indie authors who have made it, indie authors that you admire, especially who have achieved maybe something that you're trying to achieve, an award or a series, whatever it is. Find indie authors in your genre, outside your genre, traditionally published authors. Read as much as you can. And also read books on the craft, read books on writing. You'll find things in those books that you don't necessarily apply to your writing, but you'll find a lot of things that you do apply to your writing, and those are very, very helpful books to glean from. The best way to learn from other authors is to read their books. Number 2, take classes. You will find a lot of free videos like this one. You will find a lot of free classes online, as well as low-cost classes that will help you improve your craft. Be sure when you're taking classes or when you're reading books on the craft that you are learning from an author who is writing for your age group. And I say this because there are some very popular and famous authors out there who offer writing classes, but who aren't necessarily writing to the same demographic that you are. And that is an important distinction. So do your research both for the authors that you are learning from and the classes that you might be taking. Number 3, seek feedback. If you've written a story or a book or even just a couple of chapters, look for feedback on that material from friends, family, beta readers that you might find on social media if you've started talking about your writing on social media, and eventually you'll want feedback from professional editors. But you can start with just family and friends and make sure that they know that they can give constructive feedback, not just tell you how much they liked it. It is important to learn early on how to take constructive feedback, and not all feedback that you receive is going to apply to your writing, but chances are it's going to get you thinking about ways to improve that are very valuable. So even the feedback that is not 100% applicable has value. So don't be afraid to start looking for feedback on your writing, even just a short story, because learning how to assess that feedback, how to take that feedback early on is going to save you so much headache and worry later. Don't be afraid of somebody who doesn't love your story, because that's going to happen. And it doesn't mean your story is not good. It just means it wasn't right for that reader. You're especially going to find that later on after you've published and you start getting readers and reviews. You're going to find people who read your book or your story, but it wasn't for them. And that is okay. Maybe it wasn't their genre, or maybe it wasn't for their age category. Maybe they never read outside their genre or age category. So keep all of those things in mind when you start looking for feedback and getting feedback. And here is the biggest piece of advice I can give you, or maybe it's second biggest after reading. Write. Write as much as you can. Short stories, novels, scenes. Seriously, just write scenes. Write fight scenes, action scenes, sad scenes, happy scenes, weird scenes, fun scenes, car chase scenes, dream scenes. Just write. Seriously, the more you write, the better you will get. You have to be willing to start badly. That's literally the best thing that I could tell you today, is just be willing to start badly, because everything that you write, especially if you write while you are reading and reading and reading and soaking up all of these outside influences and filtering them and gleaning from them, especially if you are writing alongside of those, you will improve much more quickly. Which brings me to my next point, which is write short stories. Because short stories will help you improve so much faster than novels. And if your priority is to improve your craft and get published faster, then really short stories are the place to start. Impose a word count limit on yourself. Say, I'm going to write a 500-word short story, and then write over that limit. Write 550 words, and then go back over your story and cut out 50 words. I cannot stress this exercise enough as being so valuable to you as a writer, improving your craft. This is going to take you very far as a writer. Do it over and over again. Write a 1,000-word short story, but then go 100 words over. Learning how to cut words from a short story with a word count limit is going to take you so far. I cannot encourage you to do this enough. And also enter short story contests, because those have word count limits and they will probably have themes or topics that you have to stick to. So those are very, very valuable as well. I actually got started in writing by writing short stories for contests. I did that for a few years and it was extremely valuable, and really I wouldn't be the writer I am today with 8 published books if I hadn't had that experience. So even if short stories don't feel like your thing, try it, work on it, because it is hugely beneficial. And as you are doing all of these things, reading, writing, learning how to edit, there are a few things to keep in mind along the way. First, stop chasing perfection, because you're never going to achieve it. So stop chasing it. What you should be chasing is improvement. Constant improvement, but not perfection. And when it comes to the stories that you're writing, oftentimes new writers try to write with the most beautiful prose that they can, but clarity is more important than beauty when it comes to prose. If readers don't understand what's happening, then the beautiful prose isn't going to replace that. Readers need to understand what's happening. They need to clearly be able to picture what's happening, follow the story, not get bogged down in the pacing, but beautiful prose won't substitute that. So try to avoid that trap as you are going along, especially with short stories where you have a word count limit. And finally, friends, the best thing that I can tell you wrapping all of this up is enjoy the journey. It is a long process. It's a slow process, but it is the most worthwhile thing you will ever challenge yourself to do. Improving your craft is so important. It's so possible, but it's a long journey. So learn to enjoy the journey and not just be focused on the destination. If you're looking for something to watch next, check out this video where I outline the 5 most important skills for indie authors. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.